The kid I picked up has grown up and started acting out, even crossing serious lines. After last night, my whole body feels shattered. The boy who used to be scared of me is now clinging to my waist desperately. Are you kicking me out now? Bro, you weren't worried about me kicking you out when you pulled that stunt last night? Because last night, I couldn't resist you. Psycho. Ryan. If you get into another fight, don't blame me for teaching you a lesson. I warned, applying ointment to the purple bruise on the teenager's face in the clinic lounge. This must be the 10th time this month. Even my coworkers recognize him now. The kid never learns. Your homeroom teacher called me to school again today. Know that? I sighed, tossing the cotton swab away. No, won't happen again. Kevin, it's not that I enjoy lecturing you, but your recent behavior's unacceptable. SATs are coming up, you should focus on studies, not getting summoned to the principal's office weekly. Ryan pressed his lips into that stubborn line he always does when scolded. All tough when brawling at school, but turns into this pitiful puppy in front of me. I pulled some bills from my wallet and shoved them into his hand. Get yourself decent food and go back to campus. No more incidents. Shouldering his backpack, Ryan stood up. When did this kid outgrow me? They shoot up so fast at this age. Got it. No more trouble. Won't make you worry. He lingered at the doorway, head bowed like some kicked golden retriever. The look could melt glaciers. Go on. Keep treating that bruise unless you want the girls at school crying over your ruined face. I reached to pat his shoulder, but he slapped my hand away. My frozen fingers slowly dropped. Teenage rebellion, gotta tolerate it. Back at my department, the nurses were practically vibrating with gossip. Dr. Smith, your brother came again? I nodded, scribbling notes on a chart. Your family genes are insane. You're both so handsome, though you don't look much alike. I smirked without explaining. Of course we don't, different parents entirely. That'd be weird otherwise. Focus on work. He's a high schooler, keep your sisters away. My sibling might be interested. I shook my head. If Ryan actually listened to my warnings, pigs would fly. Not getting involved in that mess. Ryan came from the orphanage I visited years back. Back then he looked like a fourth grader despite being in middle school. Fresh out of med school and broke as hell. I still found myself signing those papers. Sometimes life throws you curveballs. I took Ryan in to live with me. At first he didn't trust me either. Every aspect of life was filled with wariness, but after 2 years, he started clinging to me. That clingy phase didn't last too long though, because Ryan grew older. He began realizing teenagers shouldn't hang on to their guardians like little kids. Before I could fully enjoy the joys of parenting, I got thrown into this confusing, painful phase, the rebellious years. Ryan wasn't always getting into fights. The trouble started around his sophomore year of high school. Initially I worried he might be getting bullied at school. Parents always see their kids through rose-colored glasses, right? But time stripped away those illusions. My hospital residency kept me increasingly busy, leaving no time for those awkward parent-teacher conferences where teachers lectured us both. Still, whenever the school called, I tried my best to understand what was happening with Ryan. The conclusion remained consistent: approaching college entrance exams, mounting pressure, insufficient family support worsening his behavior. Honestly, part of it was my fault. When my residency training neared completion, I moved back home determined to support this exam-bound teenager. Living together again made me realize how disconnected I'd become. The kid could cook now. I nearly sliced my finger fumbling with a kitchen knife I hadn't touched in years. Returning to the kitchen after changing clothes, I found perfectly julienne potatoes. When did you learn to cook? Ryan effortlessly tossed ingredients into the wok. Picked it up while you were living at the hospital. But I hired you a housekeeper. Focus on studying. Leave cooking to me now that I'm less busy. He glanced sideways. With your French fry knife skills? I scratched my head sheepishly. Since when did surgical precision translate to culinary arts? My crude chopping kept us alive before. But now he's disliking my skills? After tasting Ryan's cooking, I shut my mouth. Some boasts should stay unspoken. If you enjoy cooking, fine. But exams are coming up. My food won't poison you, even if it's not gourmet. Not true. What's not? Never look down on your cooking. Like your meals? Knew he wouldn't dislike my cooking. Good. Finish eating. Shower. Then I'll change your bandages. Okay. Post-shower, I guided Ryan to the couch. After tending his wounds, he lingered with that hesitant look. Anything else? Or are you hurt somewhere else? Shoulder. I sighed helplessly. Why didn't you mention this at the hospital? Take your shirt off. Let me check. The moment the words left my mouth, he practically ripped his shirt off like he'd been waiting for permission. I froze. When did the kid get so ripped? Sure. I've seen plenty of bodies during my years as a physician, but something about Ryan's toned physique made me unexpectedly flustered. I mentally slapped myself. Get it together. You're still a kid. Hell. I used to bathe him when we first took him in after the accident. Focusing. I examined the dark purple bruise spreading across his shoulder. This looks serious. Why didn't you tell me earlier? We need to get an x-ray tomorrow to check for fractures. You should have mentioned this last time. Not necessary. No broken bones. It's fine. I didn't push. These days the teenager barely listened anyway. After applying ointment, I sent him to bed. Lying awake later, guilt gnawed at me. I'd been neglecting him. What kind of guardian barely notices their kid's injuries? I needed to visit his school soon. 3 days later, I found myself at Westbrook High's faculty office, face to face with my old high school rival. Ethan Brown? I stared at the man in tailored tweed who looked nothing like the skateboard-obsessed troublemaker I remembered. You became a teacher? His lips quirked. And you became a doctor? Weren't you the girl who screamed at earthworms? I flushed. People change. Medicine spoke to me. What brings you here? Right. Priorities. Ryan from your senior class. How's he doing academically? Your brother? His eyebrow arched. Family circumstances. He's under my care now. Ethan's expression softened. His grades are stable. Barring disasters. He'll get into decent colleges. We walked through the empty hallway discussing study habits and college applications. As I turned to leave, Ethan suddenly gripped my elbow. Wait. There's something you should know about Ryan. What's wrong? Ethan asked with an apologetic smile. Are you still single? Have you met someone special? As Ethan spoke, a familiar voice suddenly rang out behind us. Bro. Ryan. I turned to see him wearing his school uniform properly for once. Looking every bit the student, a stark contrast to his usual style. The interruption made me completely forget Ethan's question. I walked toward Ryan. Why are you here? Shouldn't you be in class? Gym period. His eyes narrowed. You know Ethan well? I chuckled. Funny story, Ethan and I were high school classmates. We happened to run into each other and started discussing how you've been doing lately. Ethan approached with a friendly nod, but the kid didn't even bother greeting him. I shot Ethan an apologetic look, my fingers itching to twist Ryan's ear right then for his rudeness. But no, teenagers needed their dignity. I'll leave you here, Ethan said. Feel free to message me directly if you have other concerns. Thanks, Ethan. Don't mention it. Old classmates should help each other. The moment Ethan's figure disappeared around the corner, I wheeled on Ryan. That was your teacher. Since when did basic manners become optional? I only act this way with him. His jaw tightened. And you're not allowed to message him. What? If you want to know about school, ask me. I'll tell you everything. Besides, he added with infuriating logic, college entrance exams are in 2 months. How much could you possibly need to check? Fair point. Pestering Ethan would mean owing favors too. Fine. After drilling more reminders into him, I left campus. The whole walk home, I kept trying to recall Ethan's original question but drew a blank. If it mattered, he'd ask again. As exam days crept closer, I found myself morphing into one of those anxious parents. During hospital breaks, I'd join older nurses swapping stories about our kids' exam prep until they teased. Kevin, you've got the parenting act down despite being single. True enough, I wasn't young anymore. Raising Ryan these past years counted as parental boot camp. Kevin, nursely prodded during lunch. Stop fussing over your brother. What about your own love life? Seen anyone? Let me set you up. I waved her off. Not a priority. With my family situation, who'd want that baggage? Baggage? You own a condo and a car. That brother of yours is practically grown, he'll be off to college soon. What's there to worry about? That makes sense. I guess I'm just soft-hearted and easily swayed when people push me. But blind dates are all about fate, right? After failing to refuse, I reluctantly agreed. Who knew Ryan would pick up when Auntie called that evening? Kevin, are you really going on a blind date? I glanced at him, guilt creeping in. See, this is why rushing into things is a bad idea. No, it's just some well-meaning seniors at the hospital. Hard to say no to colleagues. Don't worry, even if I get married someday, you'll still live with me. I reached for my phone, but Ryan jerked it away. I frowned. Ryan, give it back. Stop joking. His behavior threw me off. He'd only acted like this when he first moved in. Now, suddenly, he leaned his full weight against me. If I hadn't caught us, we'd have tumbled to the floor. This guy, grown adult, still acting like a clingy kid. Kevin, are you in a hurry to marry? And no, like I said, it's just colleagues. One meeting won't hurt. Well, I already declined for you. You're not mad, right? Of course. Should have known he'd pull something. You already refused and now you ask? Why not tell me first? Ryan nuzzled my shoulder. All familiarity. Because you'd never agree. If you didn't want to go, I did the right thing. Sure. Whatever. Get off before you crush me. I shoved him lightly. If it weren't for your exams, I'd smack you. At the hospital next morning, I smoothed things over and declined the setups. Thankfully, the colleagues understood. Ryan, though, headache incarnate. Your brother's crazy possessive of you? Lucas smirked, fresh off his rotation elsewhere. Drop the pervy take. He's just scared I'll stop focusing on him if I marry. Kid's going through a phase. Lucas snorted. Kid. He's 18. Bet he's packing more than you by now. Quit infantilizing him. He waved his fork theatrically. Keep this up and you'll get devoured without a clue. He's my responsibility. I know him better than anyone. Not everyone's like you. Lucas stiffened. Yeah. He'd crushed hard on his stepbrother years back. Ended about as well as you'd expect. We're not talking about me. Our situations are nothing alike. I shut my mouth. Whatever. I believed what I believed. The night before exams, I tossed restlessly. Ryan's unreadable gaze from across the hall didn't help. Sleep never came. I was just starting to drift off when knocking sounded at the door. Before I could ask who it was, the door swung open. Ryan stood in the doorway clutching his pillow. Kevin, can I sleep here tonight? I blinked, automatically nodding. We'd shared a bed constantly before moving to this bigger place. But when he actually climbed in, I realized this wasn't the same scrawny kid from our childhood. Lucas's crude joke about maybe he's packing more than you suddenly flashed through my mind. My breathing hitched in the dark. The oblivious idiot chose that moment to shuffle closer. You seem tense. No shit. Everything lately screamed I shouldn't treat him like a child anymore. My own damn fault for not noticing when he'd outgrown that label. I edged toward my side of the mattress. Just tired. Get some sleep, big SATs tomorrow. I'm driving you. Won't that mess up your hospital shift? Took 3 vacation days. The image of other kids getting met by families while Ryan stood alone had me begging coworkers to swap shifts. No way my kid would be that sad statistic. You're too good to me. Of course I am. Your family. Sleep dragged me under before hearing his soft murmur. Only family? The 3 testing days stressed me more than my own SATs decades ago. Ryan stayed ice cool, walking in and out calmly while cameras chased his model, grade looks. Media never stood a chance against his evasion skills. On graduation dinner night, I warned him don't overdo the drinks before my ER shift. The emoji spam text confirmed he'd ignored me. Leaving already? Dr. Smith? A nurse called as I grabbed my keys. Kid got hammered at his senior banquet. She laughed. Let the boy live a little. Ryan sat slumped on a concrete bollard when I pulled up. Some animated guy hovering nearby. His deadpan expression didn't change until my headlights hit him. That icy mask cracked into a smile that punched my breath away, all grown-up warmth and something dangerously new. Ryan Wilson, let's go home. Okay. After he got in the car, I started my usual nagging about not drinking too much. Surprisingly quiet today. He didn't argue back at all. Maybe already too drunk to bother. Helped him out of the car and up the stairs. Bro, why can't it be me? Can't what? As I fumbled with the door, the weight against my shoulders suddenly vanished. His hand trapped mine against the light switch, pinning me to the doorframe. His knee pressed between my legs, breath hot with whiskey when he leaned in. Can't I be the one you love? Ryan's voice cracked. Later at the bar, I swirled my drink. You think I blurred the lines too much? Made him imagine things? Lucas snorted. Told you that kid had ulterior motives? Seriously? You never noticed? Noticed what? The way he looks at you, full-blown infatuation. Not some hero worship bullshit. Thought you'd figured it out. My grip tightened on the glass. Had I known earlier, we wouldn't be here. Should have killed this in the cradle. Christ. Just fuck him already. You raised the kid. Lucas smirked. Screw you. I'm not some predator. Wish someone would predator me. He refilled his shot. If you're not into it, crush it now. Kids rebound fast, unlike us fossils. I pushed away the whiskey bottle. Gotta get back to the hospital. Truth was, he wasn't wrong. Clear the air. And by fall when Ryan starts college surrounded by peers, he'll move on naturally. No messy confrontation needed. Yet the thought coiled like smoke in my lungs. Your funeral. Lucas downed another bourbon. Finding real connection? Rarer than unicorn shit. Later. His words still echoed when he casually mentioned, your brother's on a blind date. Expected. But hearing it aloud punched harder than anticipated. Love was always someone else's disaster to navigate, never ours to fix. Sigh. It was bound to happen eventually. At his age. What else is there besides dating and marriage? Can't seriously expect him to still be waiting for me, right? I bit my lip. I hadn't even sorted out my own mess yet, better not meddle in others' business. After helping the thoroughly drunk Lucas into a cab, I hailed my own ride home. I'd barely been back since that night. Call me cowardly. Call me irresponsible. In that moment, I genuinely couldn't see any solution. So I ran, better that than say something regrettable when emotions ran high. But Lucas was right. No matter what, I had to face this eventually. He's the kid I raised. Can't just cut ties overnight. The apartment was dark when I entered, no lights in the living room, no signs of life. Frowning, I wondered if Ryan had gone out partying. Hovering by the doorway, I debated calling him. Technically he's graduated now. Can't really impose curfews anymore. Still, staying out this late without even a text. Suddenly the lights blazed on. I squeezed my eyes shut against the glare. When I cautiously reopened them, Ryan stood by the light switch. Meeting my gaze, he stepped toward the couch. Kevin. My mouth opened and closed before settling on a non-committal hum. That night, I was drunk. Just spouting nonsense. Don't take it seriously. His abrupt reference to the incident caught me off guard. But maybe this was better. Whether he meant those words or not, maintaining our unspoken agreement kept us family. No shattered illusions. No awkwardness. Got it. The hospital's been. My weak excuse trailed off. Pathetic? Really. But Ryan nodded. All earnest acceptance. Of course. Focus on your work. I can handle myself. He turned toward his room. Good night. Right. Sleep well. No childish sweet dreams this time. After showering, I stared at the ceiling. Kevin, stop this. Even without his little speech, what future could we possibly have? You're pushing 40 while he's in his prime. Don't ruin the kid's life. Besides, young people are fickle. Imagine falling hard only to hear I'm over this. Then where would you be? Alone in every sense. Not worth the gamble. Our silent pact held. We maintained surface-level normalcy, though Ryan's newfound distance stung. Gone was the clingy boy who'd parade around half-dressed after showers. Now he dressed like a Victorian maiden, full pajama sets, zero skin showing. Even his hugs felt calculated, always angling to avoid contact, as if there were some pervert in the house. Wait, if I recall correctly, he's the one who started getting ideas first. Did you have something to talk to me about, Kevin? I froze, then lowered my head before realizing how guilty this made me look, quickly raising it again. Maybe I imagined it, but I could swear I saw amusement flicker in Ryan's eyes. Nothing urgent. Just wanted to ask if you've decided which college to apply to. Honestly, I didn't feel right prying about life choices, but complete silence seemed inappropriate too. I want to attend your alma mater. Ryan's answer nearly made me drop my coffee mug. Since when had he been interested in medicine? Not that I opposed his choice, but anyone who's been through med school knows the grind. Medical training's brutal, I warned, channeling my hard-earned experience. You sure about this? You managed to stick it out. His retort stung. Truth was, I'd stumbled into this career path myself, but once committed, there's no quitting halfway. Fine. Your call. Against all expectations, Ryan actually listed my medical school as his first choice and got into the clinical program. The kid was hellbent on walking this thorny path. Back at the hospital, colleagues kept asking about his specialization. When I told them, their reactions turned oddly knowing. Smart move? One nurse quipped. Less chance of dealing with violent patients. Though he'll probably need bodyguards against fan clubs during rotations. I forced a smile. Popularity meant nothing when you're not into women. Damn. This train of thought again. Dr. Smith's been sighing a lot lately. Ethan's observation startled me. With his relative being my patient, we'd been crossing paths more frequently. But I hadn't realized he'd been monitoring my moods. Just the usual patient load worries. I deflected, resting my chin on my hand. He placed a lunch container on my desk, the third this week. Previous experience told me refusing would be pointless. Made extra, Ethan said with that disarming smile. Least I can do for all your help. After discussing his family member's treatment plan, he lingered awkwardly. Was there something else? I prompted. His ears turned pink. This might be overstepping. But at my age, you learn to shoot your shot. That question I asked before. I'd like to ask again. He took a steadying breath. Are you currently seeing anyone? Or is there someone you like? If not, would you consider giving me a chance? After seeing Ethan off, I felt completely out of sorts. Over the past decade or so, while I hadn't been entirely devoid of romantic prospects, they'd been few and far between. I never gave it much thought until now, when they suddenly started popping up everywhere. Headache. A real headache. What's worse, I hadn't been firm enough in my responses. Maybe part of me actually wanted to give this a shot. Once Ryan leaves for college, I'll be completely alone in this house. In a few years, when he graduates, gets a job, or starts his own family, then what? I'll truly have nobody left. Might as well choose companionship while I still can. So I quietly let Ethan's courtship begin. Let me tell you, men never outgrow their knack for pursuit. For all his serious demeanor, Ethan didn't hold back. Flowers? Check. Gourmet treats? Delivered. Chivalrous rides home? Absolutely. It actually started feeling like a real romance. Are you serious about this? My friend demanded over coffee. About what? This whole thing with your old classmate Ethan. Does Ryan know? Don't come crying when that kid snaps and hauls you off to bed tonight. I scowled. Must you always be so crude? I'm doing this for his own good. He seems over it now. But I swear he's plotting something. If I commit to Ethan, Ryan will naturally move on. Whatever. Just don't let this blow up in your face. I tried to push down my doubts. Still, I needed to tell Ryan about Ethan properly. What I didn't expect was him finding out first. Ethan had just dropped me off when I turned to see Ryan standing in the shadows, his dark eyes burning into me. The intensity made my throat tighten. You saw that? He's pursuing you. Despite my age. Heat rushed to my cheeks. I scratched my neck. Well, you know, opportunities like this don't come often at my... He stormed upstairs before I finished. That brat. I muttered. So much for our heart-to-heart talk. At least he knows now. Problem solved. Right? Wrong. The mattress dipped at 2 a.m. I jolted awake, fumbling for the lamp. A familiar citrus shower gel scent hit me as warm hands pinned my wrists. Ryan. Get off. He buried his face in my neck. Scorching breath searing my skin. Oh. The guy was already taller than me, and now he was pinning me down. I had no strength left to struggle. Ryan Wilson. I'm serious. Ryan snorted. Bro, getting mad is just like you're acting cute. Damn. Who's acting cute? Why did you accept his confession? Does he even genuinely like you? What's it to you? Ryan. Don't forget I raised you. You've got no right to lecture me. Then why don't you keep lecturing me? Bro. Do it forever? Okay. Ryan knew I couldn't resist his vulnerable side. Now he was weaponizing it, laying the puppy eyes on thick. Whether I date someone or not doesn't change anything. As long as you want me around, I'll always be here. Suddenly, sharp teeth sank into my neck. I tried shoving him off, but his grip tightened. I mean forever? Bro. Just us two. No one else. Ryan licked the bite mark, a twisted apology. We're not compatible. Says who? I know you better than anyone. Your coffee order. How you hum when cooking. That weird mole on your... The age gap. Ryan. You're too young to understand real love. What happens when you realize this is just dependency? I stopped struggling. What was the point? I've loved you since freshman year. Not family love. The kind where I memorize how your lips twitch before smiling. The kind that makes me want to pin you against walls. His bluntness froze me. Mistaking my shock for consent. He leaned in. Our mouths almost touched when I snapped awake, shoving him off with sudden strength. Panting, I glared from across the room. This can't happen. Ryan prowled closer. Shirt riding up to reveal abs I'd definitely not stared at during laundry days. No feelings at all? Then why'd your eyes linger here last week? He grabbed my wrist, forcing my palm against his heated skin. Okay. Fine, the kid was sculpted. But I wasn't some creep. Yanking free. I hissed. Let's talk this through like adults. He blocked the door. Silent. My legs went numb before he finally growled. Fine. But if I hate what you say, all bets are off. Little shit. Under harsh living room lights, I huddled in my robe. Sleep? Forget it. My 7 a.m. shift tomorrow would be hell. When did this start? You really want to know? Ryan's smirk promised trouble. Can you even distinguish dependency from? College won't change this. I've met hundreds. None of them were you. His certainty made my chest ache. I wavered too. But the years between us? The power imbalance? Those weren't just numbers. The odds are too slim. It's better to maintain a familial relationship so we can at least stay in each other's lives till the end. Ryan Wilson, don't make me regret bringing you home from the orphanage, I said calmly, watching the usually stoic boy gradually redden his eyes. I knew these words cut deep, but only this approach could make him withdraw his tentative thoughts. When Ryan reached for my hand moments later, I didn't pull away, but neither did I return the gesture. Keeping my lips pressed tight, I maintained eye contact. Any sign of hesitation now would undo everything. Whether driven by genuine fear or hurt, Ryan eventually released my hand. I understand, he murmured. This won't happen again. I'm sorry, Kevin. My heart ached too, but this was necessary to make him move on. Ryan's future shouldn't be anchored by my presence. He deserved better. No apologies needed. I knew you'd come around. Enjoy your summer. Text me if you need anything. I'll be swamped with work lately. Got it. After that night, our relationship reset completely. No more testing boundaries. Just the simple closeness we'd originally shared. My situation with Ethan didn't progress either. Once the initial novelty faded, we both acknowledged the lack of chemistry and parted amicably. You'll find someone who truly clicks with you, I offered during our final coffee meetup. Ethan chuckled ruefully. I kept hoping more time together might spark something. But guess that's not how it works. Hope you find your person too. Life settled into its familiar rhythm, shuttling between the hospital and home, occasionally fending off colleagues' matchmaking attempts. The dating scene only reinforced my belief that relationships require serendipity, not forced efforts. When September arrived, I drove Ryan to campus myself. Though close enough for daily commutes, I insisted he dorm to build social connections. You and Ethan? His quiet question almost got drowned by traffic noise. Didn't work out. He left it at that. The rest of our drive passing in comfortable silence. Watching him disappear into the freshman crowd, I felt oddly parental. Ryan's college life became my new normal. He visited every weekend and frequently crashed at home despite the dorm fees I'd paid. His texting habits surprised me, constant updates about cafeteria food, bizarre campus traditions, even funny-shaped clouds. The brooding teen I knew now sent memes and TikTok clips. Time accelerated. Before I knew it, my boy was already a sophomore. His time coming home decreased as his studies grew more demanding. My routine remained unchanged, though the number of colleagues trying to set me up with dates at the hospital seemed to multiply. No matter how firmly I declined, their efforts persisted relentlessly. Ryan happened to overhear their chatter during his visit. I hadn't noticed his arrival. No rush, I said, flipping through a patient chart with practiced ease. Marriage isn't some life or death milestone anyway. Besides, if I started dating, who'd cover your Valentine's Day shifts? You're full of it? A nurse snorted. Wait until your brother moves out after his wedding. What'll you do then? All alone in that empty house? I'll pester him daily. He owes me that much after I raised him, not like he'd abandoned me. The sudden silence behind me made me turn. Ryan stood there, jaw tight. You're here. Just arrived. We left after my shift, autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Halfway to the parking lot, his voice cut through the crisp air. I'd never leave you. Cling to me forever if you want. My throat tightened. He'd heard everything. Of course you won't. I'm your brother. Remember? Kevin. His stare burned hotter than the coffee in my hands. You know what I mean. The car ride home throbbed with unspoken words. Even after a year in college, Ryan remained stubbornly single. My chest ached with conflicted pride. This fierce loyalty could break him someday. His bedroom door slammed shut like he was 15 again. I sighed, reaching for the cookie jar peace offering. This Cold War lasted weeks until forgotten notes forced a truce. The campus swarmed with students when I arrived with his missing textbook. Before I could call out, a blonde undergrad bounded toward Ryan, fingers brushing his arm with easy familiarity. My smile turned brittle as cafeteria coffee. Leaving the book at security, I fled before my mask cracked. Lucas answered my barstool SOS, sliding a Shirley Temple toward me. Moping over your kid brother again? He's seeing someone. The cherry syrup tasted like ashes. Thought that's what you wanted. His eyebrow arched. Regretting playing martyr now? I should be relieved. The straw bent between my fingers. So why does this feel like swallowing glass? Lucas downed his whiskey, eyes sharp as broken bottles. Welcome to adulthood. When do you stop lying to yourself? I think you old guys are all the same. I glared at him. I mean the older ones in relationships. You overthink everything. Shouldn't feelings just be about mutual attraction? Why complicate things with all that overanalysis? You don't understand. Right. If I understood, wouldn't I have won over my brother already? Keep dragging your feet then. Maybe you'll feel better when he brings home some kid calling you uncle someday. Regret flooded me for even agreeing to meet Lucas. Kevin, listen. Don't be so hung up on morals or future outcomes. Things go south later. You're only in your 30s, it's not like you're 50. Plenty of fish in the sea. If I were actually 50, maybe I wouldn't be stressing about this crap. Lucas suddenly leaned in conspiratorially. What's wrong with sleeping with someone you've raised? My eyes widened as I shoved him away. You never talk straight. Your brother? Yeah. We slept together. My jaw dropped. This bastard actually made moves? We hadn't seen each other for just a few weeks. Don't look so shocked. Nothing came of it anyway. He kicked me out next morning, changed all the door codes, and blocked my number. I snorted laughter. Serves you right. Go apologize properly. Fuck. But he won't even let me try. Lucas waved dismissively. Worry about your own mess. If you like someone, go for it. What good comes from bottling feelings? It's not like your family opposes same-sex relationships. Returning to my empty apartment, insomnia gripped me past midnight. Lucas's crude advice kept echoing. Maybe he had a point. I've been overcomplicating things. The future's uncertain anyway, why not take the chance? Giving up on sleep. I wandered into the other bedroom and burrowed into Ryan's unmade bed. Though he'd been gone for days, his scent still lingered in the sheets. I drifted off, breathing that familiar comfort. Dawn's first light filtered through the curtains when the bedroom door creaked open. Half conscious, I barely registered Ryan's silhouette before the door slammed shut. The sharp sound jolted me awake just as calloused fingers gripped my chin, mint-flavored lips crushing against mine in urgent demand. Wait, morning breath. Ryan showed no mercy. Hands already pushing me sideways across the mattress. I don't care. But I do. My weak protests only fueled his intensity, every squirm between us sparking fresh heat. Since when did Ryan lose control like this? Even as trails off, the morning light finally brought some peace to the room. Though we hadn't gone all the way, enough had happened to leave me completely drained on the mattress. Good thing I'm off today, Ryan, or you'd be in serious trouble. Ryan chuckled, leaning in to brush his lips against mine. My bad. You've got some nerve now. I huffed as he helped me dress, my limbs feeling like jelly. The boy had truly become a man. Guess I do. He grinned, fingers lingering at my waist. Gonna kick me out for it? Should have thought about that before starting something, I retorted, leaning heavily against him. Couldn't help myself with you in my bed. His breath warmed my neck. This about Lucas? Though not close friends, Ryan and Lucas moved in the same circles because of me. His shoulders shook with silent laughter. Heard he got evicted from his place. Slapping away his wandering hands, I winced while standing. We need to talk. No. Can't we talk here? He gestured suggestively at the rumpled sheets. Stop messing around. My throat felt raw until water soothed it. Ryan's collar failed to hide the marks I'd left, evidence of last night's intensity. You know what this conversation's about? His gaze turned serious. Whatever you're fearing won't happen. I'll love you till my dying breath. When I stayed silent, he pressed on. This isn't family attachment. It's real love. Maybe we try? Ryan closed the distance. Our knees touching as he laced fingers with mine. Not try. Forever. Even if you push me away, I'll stay. Okay. Later. Lucas looked far less cheerful when we visited. A fresh bruise marred his jawline. Get your coupled up bliss out of here, he groused, though I caught his relieved smile. That night, Ryan suddenly brought up Ethan. Who's better in bed? He demanded, clinging like a koala. Ryan, are you 5? Always your kid. He nuzzled my neck until I shoved him. Kids don't maul people given half a chance. His arms circled my waist, anchoring me in warmth and the scent of shared history. Who said that? I was just shy back then. If I could do it over, I definitely wouldn't act that way. I chuckled, calling him shameless. We bickered some more about Ethan's situation until sleepiness finally crept in. Just as I was drifting off, his hands started wandering. What are you doing? Refreshing my memory on the inguinal area. You little pervert.